Welcome back, guys. So as I mentioned in my previous video, in this video we'll be setting up our own home server. So before we do that, there are a couple of things to set up. First of all, you should push your port you should push your Django code to a GitHub. So I'll push my code to GitHub. I already created a repository and all. So git push you origin. Okay, I forgot to git add and git commit. So git add, git commit message. So and we'll just push it. So let that happen. By that time, there are some things we have to do. That is, we have to set up our port forwarding. Now, what is port forwarding? If you guys don't know what port forwarding is, it is an application of network address that redirects a communication request from one address to another. So basically, it's like I'm giving a port. Let's say I'm giving port number 81. I'm assigning it to one of my PCs. Right now I have two PCs. One is my laptop and one is my server. So I'm assigning port number 81 to my server. So what this does is, if we use the LAN's or our modem's public IP, so if you see my IP, if I use this with port 81, it will redirect to my server. Now what we are going to do, we are going to use Nginx to listen to port number 81. That is, in my server it will listen to port 81, and if there is a connection coming to port 81, Nginx is going to use Unicorn to redirect it to my web page. So that's how it's set up. So I'll just show you how to set up the port. So just go to your modem's router admin page. So my format is 192.168.1.1 and I'm using Airtel. So for those guys who are out there and you're using Geo, so that's bad news for you guys. You can't use port forwarding. So I know it's kind of, you can't set up your own home server with port forwarding, but you can of course use services like AWS, Amazon, Azure, like that. So in port forwarding, as you can see, 192.168.1.6 is my home server, and for that I have put up my SSH server. And for Airtel also, there's a bad news. Web server and HTTPS server, that is 80, port number 80 and port number 443 won't work. Port number 443 will work if you have your SSL certificate with you, but purchasing an SSL certificate is going to be costly, and if you are not seriously if you are setting up your web server for fun purposes, I suggest you don't buy an SSL certificate. But other than that, you can of course use port number 81. So if you guys remember, I had already created a course. So if you check my IP, and I'm going to use this, I'll show you my previous course content, the site I created. As you can see, I am using port number 81. If I open it up, okay, it's showing a bad request. That's because this page is not linked to my Django application. In Django application, there's a in settings.py there's a line where you say allowed host. That's why bad request, but it works. Otherwise you would have been seen something like, if I open port number 80, is showing welcome to Nginx. Port number, as I mentioned before, port number 80 does not work, but here it works because I'm using my own server, that's Mass5GS. But if you try using your some other connection outside your local server, it won't work. So now I'll just show you how to do port forwarding in Airtel. So you just have to click port forward. We are going to say custom settings, and I will go with port number, let's say 82. For my client, I'm gonna use Matthew, that is my server, TCP/IP, and add it. So my server is now set up. I mean, the port forwarding is set up, not my server. And let's see if it's finished. Yeah, it's done. There should have been error. No errors. So that's fine. And now I just clear it up. And let's get both. So I'm going to use SSH to connect to my server. As you see, I'm using Ubuntu server, and it's pretty easy to install Ubuntu server. You just have to download it, boot it up, install it. That's it, done. And in Ubuntu server, Postgres, there's an option to enable Postgres, so I suggest you do that. And that's it. So let's start. So SSH, I'm going to use my local server, so 192.168.1.6. Of course, you can use my, as you can see, port number 22 is addressed to my 192.168.1.6. Of course, that means you can of course use the public IP too, but I'll be using 192.168, my local IP, because so that you guys don't get confused. For AWS, you will be only given the public IP and not the local IP, so I suggest you guys to use your public IP. So I press enter. It's asking me for my password. I'll just enter it up. There it is. Welcome to Ubuntu 18.0.4.4. So as I mentioned, I already installed it. I don't think Ubuntu 20.4 will work in my PCs because it's pretty old. So let's get started. So I'll go to my SQL, there Postgres, and there I will create a database for my project. So to that, sudo u Postgres now we are in our Postgres. So let's create our database. Database name. So let's see. What did I name it? I think it was portfolio. Kind of forgot. So in settings.py, see here we have to add our allowed host. That's why it was not working. So in settings.py, in Postgres we have a portfolio. The name is portfolio. So I just add that. So portfolio. So database is created, and we'll create a user for this. I'm not going to use the default user, so create user. My username, I'm going to call it let's say Krista, with password. You can get password itself. So password. I think it should be my bad. So user is also created. Now I'll alter my user's role. So alter role, first up, set client encoding to UTF-8. Basically, we are setting the default encoding to UTF-8, which Django expects. Now we'll set default transaction isolation. Basically, we also the scheme we are setting it to read committed, which blocks read from uncommitted transactions. So let's set that up. So set default transaction isolation to read some spelling mistake. TEFAULT, correct. TRAN. Okay, so there was some spelling mistake. It was supposed to be set default transaction isolation to read committed. It was supposed to have 2T. My bad. And one more alter role is there. So alter role. We are going to set our time zone to UTC. So set time. Now what we are gonna do is we are gonna grant privileges of my database to my user. So what grant all privileges on a database portfolio to my username. So it's Christoph. So it's granted. So let's quit Postgres. Now what we'll do is just check my pip version. It's 4.3.6, so that's okay. So we'll try to update our pip. Sudo h pip 3 install. I think it's already in latest version, so and also will install a virtual environment. So for that we just have to say sudo h pip 3 install virtual env. Now let's collect our project from our Git repo. So let's go to GitHub Right. So this is my portfolio. I'll just clone it. So git clone so that's setting up. So let's go to Django portfolio. So there it is, we have our portfolio. So let's create our virtual environment. I'll call it my project env. Let's install setups. I'll make it full size. So we'll activate it. So it's virtual my project been activated. So we activated our project. So in settings.py, we have to edit our allowed host. So nano portfolio settings.py. So now one localhost. Number 6. Save it. We also have to change our database settings. So that also we'll just complete it up. So user is not Postgres. This is my name. And password is password. Postgres SQL and Psycho PG2. That's completed. Now that we have set up almost everything, we'll make migrations. So Python manage that. Just check my Python version. It's 2.7. You have to use 3 points, so be careful about that. So manage.py, make migrations. Done. Let's migrate. Let's create our super user. Create super user. So super user is also completed. Now we collect our static files. Collect static. Yes. No file. Let's just check our settings. Okay, that's spelling mistake it seems. So now settings.py. See. It's capital S. That works. Now it says zero files copied because the contents are the same, hence the this thing. Now we will just check it out if this is working. So it says sudo fw is our default firewall. Allow 1000 rule is added. Now just check if it is working. So Python 3 and .py run server under 8000 port. I just check that it's working. So 192.168.1.6 8000. No extra matches. What page works? So it seems there was some problem. Let's check it out. Nano right. This is because why the error is occurring here because if you guys remember, I tried to get my resume. So we are trying to get resume get object 404 extra. So that's why the error. So I'll just add my resume. So in admin. Okay, that's it. So cd. So in my extras, I'll add an extra for my resume. So resume. This is my resume. I'll have to create category also. So categories. Add a category. Official documents. This contains my personal official documents. This should be under extra. Save it. Storage. Under extras, I'll add my stuff now. So it's resume. My resume. Official documents, not a video, it's a PDF file. So I'll choose file. So that's my resume. Save it. Now it should work. Yep, it works. So we have set up our domain. Now there's something we have to do. I think I forgot to mention for you guys to install Untitled. So that's something I have to do. So I'll just close it. Let's say deactivate. Now I'm not going to install Untitled, and but for you guys it's a must. So I already installed a Unicorn, so I'm not repeating it again. So how you install Unicorn is like sudo apt get, we are installing Python 3 and pip. If it's not available, then Python 3 dev, then libqdev, libq Nginx. Yeah, that's it. Unicorn is should be should have been installed by default. So just press enter. So that should work. Now I'm not gonna, as I said, I'm not gonna install all this again. It takes a little bit time. Depends upon your networks, of course. So let's bind it with Unicorn. So I'm gonna say Unicorn zero dot zero dot zero dot zero. I'll just change my folder name. So move change project to portfolio. So it's Unicorn. Now we'll bind. So Unicorn so I'll say Unicorn bind 0.0.0.0 8000 portfolio dot WSGI. We are binding WSGI with Unicorn. So enter. So module not found, module name not found. So Unicorn it works. Unicorn binding works. So we were just testing that out. So now we will create our Unicorn service file. So we have to say sudo nano /etc /system d /system /unicorn. So you can see I have already set up this, but this is for my previous application, so I'll delete all this. These 4 lines I'm not gonna delete. I will delete till working directory. After that we'll start typing, or I'll just edit it. You guys can just watch it. I'll just explain it. So I'll start by editing it. Working directory is gonna be called portfolio, and it's portfolio.whiskey. Restart is equal to always yes. So we have set up our. Now I'll tell you what this does. Basically we are describing our Unix section. We're gonna say Unicorn daemon. You have to say it cast unicorn.socket. Here we're gonna say server for service, under service we're gonna say who's the user, and it should be your username for your PC. For me it is Christian Matthew. The group is going to be a www. So, and working directory is home Christian Matthew, basically your working directory path, so it will portfolio, and this is where Unicorn is there. So for normally it should be under /home /Christian Matthew /my project, the project name portfolio, then under env, then under bin, under Unicorn. But there was some problem, so I had to change it. So this should work. Let's close it. So I'll save it. Yes. So under sudo system ctl start. So I have to reload it. That's why the error. So you see, for you guys, you just have to type sudo system ctl start Unicorn. But as you can see, my file was changed, hence I have to reload it. Daemon reload. Then let's enable Unicorn. Enable Unicorn. Now let's see the status of our Unicorn. Sudo system ctl status Unicorn. So it's working, active, everything's working. Close it up. Let's check if our sock file exists. So ls/home username / just type ls. You see, normally the Unicorn sock file should exist here, but for me, for some reason, it did not. It was existing under .local /bin /Unicorn. That's why I had to retype it like that. So I just daemon reload and restart Unicorn. Now it's time to configure our Nginx. So we'll say sudo nano /etc/nginx /sites available, and this should be a project name. So it's for me is portfolio. So here we'll be typing the server we should listen to. So server listen port number 80. Leave it tab. Then the server name listen to 192.168.1.6. also listen to my IP. So my IP, just check it out. Listen to this. Close the server file. Before that, we also have to set up our location of our favicon, also our static. So we'll be setting up our location. So location, as I said, my port 80 does not work, so port 81 is the same something, so port 82. So for location, look for favicon file. So we'll say favicon favicon.ico. Turn off the access log, that if favicon is not there, don't show an error. So I'll say log not found . for our static file, so location slash static, look under root slash home slash Mr. Matthew slash portfolio. Now for our media file, so location slash media slash same thing, just look for root slash home Mr. Matthew slash portfolio. Now to check for our main file, so location, basically what this does is that when we are opening our 192.168 using browser, it will go to Nginx, since engine is string 82, and this slash will be redirected to our Unicorn. So we'll say include proxy params, and proxy pass will be our Unicorn file. So http Unix /run unicorn.sock. So that should work. Save it. Yes. Now we will enable the file by linking it to sites enable the directory. So we'll say sudo ln means link s/etc/ Nginx sites available, and it should be our portfolio to our enabled file directory. So etc Nginx sites enabled. Now we'll test if there are any errors. So sudo nginx test fail, it seems. So we have some error here. So it should have been some opening error, it seems. So we have slash, we are listening to our ports, we're listening for static media, post dots. So that's done. The location, proxy params, proxy pass, http Unix one unicorn sock. Those that should work. Okay, it's successful. It was because of our what I say semicolon. So I'll just restart my Nginx. Sudo system ctl restart Nginx, and we'll delete uf sudo uwf. We don't want r8000. So delete allow 1000, and we will allow Nginx. So ufw allow Nginx phone. Oh, for me it's already existing, so let's see if it's coming up. It support 62. It's not important to this. So why here? So 168.1.6. Okay, it works. That was basically because of my firewall error. I just disabled it for you guys. That won't be necessary because I was like playing with the firewall and some stupid things happened. So we have our server right now. So I guess guys that's it. We have set up our server. Now there's something else you should know. I'll just see if this works for our nano portfolio settings. So here I'll check my IP. So my IP so I'll be adding this to 122.174.87.198. Close it up. Yep, done. Now I just saved it works for this. Disallowed hosts. So let's see, 122.174.87. Oh, we had to restart our Nginx. No, it should have worked. Let's try by restarting our Nginx. So sudo it works. So that's it guys, we have successfully deployed our project. So I guess if you guys liked it, press the subscribe button and also the like button. Thank you guys for watching.